Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Saxgate was the scandal that made Russell Brand notorious. Georgina Baillie, the granddaughter of Fawlty Towers star Andrew Sachs, was in a relationship with Brand when she was 20 and he was 30. Brand was fired after he and his BBC Radio 2 co-host Jonathan Ross left vulgar messages on Andrew Sachs's voicemail, bragging that Brand had slept with his granddaughter.
Look, Andrew Sachs, I've got respect for you and your lineage and progeny. Never let that be questioned.
Don't hint.
I wasn't hinting. Why did that come across as a hint?
Because you know what you're talking about.
Now, when you were doing...
It's a granddaughter!
Andrew Sachs, I did not do nothing with Georgina. Oh, no, I've revealed I know her name! Oh, no, it's a disaster!
Well, the BBC received more than 40,000 complaints. Radio 2's controller quit over the scandal and Brand was fired. I'm joined in the studio now by Andrew Sachs's granddaughter, Georgina Baillie. Georgina, I could see you almost recoiling in horror listening to that again. Because it was, I remember listening to that and thinking, A, I thought it was disgusting, and B, I couldn't believe that it had been edited and put out. Yeah. It wasn't live. This had been taped and then put out by the BBC.
Exactly.
What was it like for you to be caught in that storm?
Well, it wasn't pleasant. I was very young at the time. I was 23 years old when the story broke, and it was a very unnerving time because not only have my grandparents heard about what I've been up to sexually, which anybody would recoil
Horrible,
at,
yeah.
but then it's all the boys will be boys attitude and like, oh, isn't it funny? She's a slut anyway, so like, who cares? So that was their only line of defence, is to sort of slut shame me, basically.
Obviously, their behaviour was appalling, and everyone agreed with that. How did Russell treat you when you were actually in a relationship?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't consider me and Russell having been in a relationship. Right. We had like a sort of friends with benefits type situation, which was fine in my early 20s. And he was always very nice to me. Like it was very clear what the parameters of the relationship were, and that was mutually agreed upon, and never did anything untoward happen.
And he later, right, and obviously that came and that was shocking, but later, a few years later, he did actually help pay for you to go through rehab.
Yes, exactly. So I was struggling with addiction for about 10, 15 years, and I was finding it very hard to get clean and sober. So one of my mutual friends between me and Russell called him up and said, you know, George, you need some help. And so he sent me to rehab, and I was physically separated from my drug of choice, and I got some therapy, and I think that had a big part to play in my recovery journey. And he looked me in the eyes and he made his amends to me, which is what we do in recovery. We have to make amends to people.
What did he say to you?
He just acknowledged that it was a private relationship and it shouldn't have been made public, and that at the time he had 2 daughters, and I think that it really made him grow and change. And yeah, I felt it was genuine. I felt that he was sorry.
So we cut forward, this was 2018, so we cut forward 5 years. Now he's all over the front pages of every paper as an alleged rapist and sexual abuser. What was your reaction when you first heard about this?
So initially, first of all, I have been a survivor of sexual abuse, okay? And I will always believe victims, because why wouldn't you?
Would you always believe accusers?
Accusers, it depends. I wasn't in the room, you know? We weren't in the room. We don't know what happened there. But my initial thought was, oh my God, I'm glad I'm not Russell, because it's behaviour that he was doing when he wasn't well. So when you're an addict, you can cross-addict. So if you're not working a programme, he explained this to me when he made his amends, you can be off booze and drugs, but if you're not working a programme, you can be acting out on a sex addiction or a food addiction. And he wasn't working a programme, and as an addict in recovery, I know that he wasn't well. So I have to...
But that doesn't justify rape and sexual assault.
It does not.
If indeed that is what he did. I mean, I've only read what I've read. I've seen the Dispatch's programme. They are disturbing allegations, but they are allegations. Do you recognise the person described in these reports?
No, I don't. But I'm not saying that they're lies, because, you know, it was a long time ago. we all, and I think they should be believed and get some help, because part of the recovery program is you must make amends for these things. And that's what he did to me, and hopefully he'll do the same for the others.
But you're presuming he's guilty.
I wouldn't say that. I would say that I'm taking it in with a pinch of salt, maybe, for want of a better
Would
word.
it not be better now if this becomes a police investigation to try and determine whether these allegations are in fact
Of course.
legally sound?
Of course, yeah.
Have you spoken to Russell about any of this? Do
No, I haven't.
you want to call him? Do you feel that way, or do you want to keep out of it?
To be honest, you know, all I've got is my own truth, and yeah, I don't know what I would say to him. Really.
I mean, it's an odd journey you've been with him. He sort of ruined. Well, you had a nice time with him, then he sort of ruined your life for a bit. Then he saved your life potentially by helping you with the rehab. It's been quite a journey between the two of you.
Yeah, it's been.
What are your feelings towards him today?
Well, I feel like he was a different person during those times. He was young and stupid, and as was I. And things would have been done differently now, I think. Slut shaming was totally fine back then. And so I was an easy target. But sorry, what was the question?
Well, just what your thoughts towards him are right now.
I want him to continue on his path of recovery, and when he makes a mistake, make an amends. That's what we do.
At the moment, he's categorically denied these allegations.
I hear that. Yeah.
But when you read the reports, you think there may be merit to what these girls are saying, these women are saying.
I, from my own personal experience, do not see Russell as a rapist. However, a lot of the evidence is very compelling. So one has to keep an open mind.
What do you do now with your life?
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah.
So I'm an artist. I paint mainly. And I do big commissions for people. And I also am an actress, and I had the lead role in a play 2 years ago. And also I have a little TV series called Fanny Business, in which I play a 50s housewife who's a bit insane.
And you, I hope you don't mind me saying, you said you've been clean now for a number of years.
I've been clean and sober for three and a half years. I'll be turning 4 on February 16th.
So you're in a good place.
I would say so.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I think what you went through in that Sachs Gate scandal was
Yeah, it was
horrific.
a bit rubbish. Yeah.
I thought it was just a terrible way to treat a young woman. Really was, and very unacceptable. So I'm glad to see you doing well, and best of luck to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.